Okay, check this out, people. I got something for y'all. Remember I kept saying how dirty the DA's office is and stuff? All right, I went with this attorney to one of these meetings out here in Minnesota, right? Good attorney, but he couldn't believe what they were saying, though. I want y'all to hear this right here. This shit will crack y'all up, man. Okay?
Protective order carries criminal consequences.
Listen to this.
Accordingly, that makes it a pretty heavy tool in negotiating divorce. If it goes through my office, it's a lot harder to use it in negotiating a settlement to your divorce. So I would encourage you very strongly, if you have one of those cases, to do the protective order as part of your case. It gives you more leverage negotiating settlement. If you're like, well, that's great, I don't know what a protective order looks like, shoot us a message. We'll send you forms. We are willing to help. You know, we're willing to kind of walk you through the process. But our attitude is, if you can do holistic representation for your client, it's better for the client. It's better outcomes in terms of negotiating a settlement. And I'm not going to lie, it is, one fewer case for me. So win-win-win all around. Protective orders are pretty easy. So part of why you refer them to us is you just don't want to deal with them. They're actually pretty easy. You have two kinds primarily, and I'm going to give you the quick overview, and then we'll get into the nitty gritty. The bulk of our protective orders are domestic violence, family violence, and those are under Chapter 85 of the Family Code. And to prove one of those up, you have to prove a relationship existed that meets the requirements. And then other than that, you just have to prove that family violence occurred and is likely to occur in the future. It's a pretty low burden of proof, pretty low standard. That's really all it is. For the other kind of protective orders, you have stalking, sexual assault, and harassment. You have to prove that there's a reasonable likelihood to believe that it happened. Again, real easy to prove up. So if you have one of these cases, and on those, you don't have to prove likelihood of future harm. He can be sitting in jail for sexual assault for the next 10 years. And if you can prove up that it happened, and if he's in jail, you probably can, well, then you've got something that carries criminal consequences that you can use to get a protective order, or use as a bargaining chip in your divorce. So let's go into that. Protective order carries criminal consequences. Accordingly, that makes it a pretty heavy tool in negotiating divorce. If it goes through my office, it's a lot harder to use it in negotiating a settlement to your divorce. So I would encourage you very strongly, if you have one of those cases, to do the protective order as part of your case. It gives you more leverage in negotiating settlement. If you're like, well, that's great, I don't know what a protective order looks like, shoot us a message. We'll do forms. We are willing to help. We're willing to kind of walk you through the process. But our attitude is, if you can do holistic representation for your client, it's better for the client. It's better outcomes in terms of negotiating a settlement. And I'm not going to lie, it is, one fewer case for me. So win-win-win all around. Protective orders are pretty easy. So part of why you refer them to us is you just don't want to deal with them. They're actually pretty easy. You have two kinds primarily, and I'm going to give you the quick overview, and then we'll get into the nitty-gritty. The bulk of our protective orders are domestic violence, family violence, and those are under Chapter 85 of the Family Code. And to prove one of those up, you have to prove a relationship existed that meets the requirements. And then other than that, you just have to prove that family violence occurred and is likely to occur in the future. It's a pretty low burden of proof, pretty low standard. That's really all it is. For the other kind of protective orders, you have stalking, sexual assault, and harassment. You have to prove there's a reasonable likelihood to believe that it happened. Again, real easy to prove up. So if you have one of these cases, and on those, you don't have to prove likelihood of future harm. He can be sitting in jail for sexual assault for the next 10 years. And if you can prove up that it happened, and if he's in jail, you probably can, well, then you've got something that carries criminal consequences that you can use to get a protective order, or use as a bargaining chip in your divorce. So let's go into that. Protective order carries.
That's how criminalized the judges are and the prosecution. This is a prosecutor, okay? I went with this attorney to one of these things, right? Now, this is a prosecutor training attorneys to be prosecutors in Minnesota. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. So the prosecuting office in the state of Minnesota is teaching people to be prosecutors to fabricate, falsify a court document of restraining orders. They are training them to do that. They are training them. You heard it. I went with this guy to a meeting yesterday. With this attorney yesterday in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And this is a prosecutor. And they train these attorneys to be prosecutors. And the first thing comes out of this bitch's mouth is, we will show you how to put restraining orders out. We will show you how to lie on them. And guess what? It says right there, prosecutors, allegations is a real crime. Is a real crime. Prosecutors, this is a DA teaching family lawyers to use false allegations to win cases. DA is teaching family lawyers to use false allegations to win cases. That bitch needs to be in prison for the rest of her fucking life. And she's a DA. This bitch is a DA. I couldn't believe what she was. I had to record it. Dude, I said, can I record it? Do it. Do it. Because this bitch is crazy. She's teaching lawyers. The DA is teaching family lawyers to use false allegations to win cases. False restraining orders. False domestic violence orders. I couldn't believe it, man. I'm like, dude, I got to record this. Oh, hell no, I got to record this. This is a fucking DA. A DA. Every motherfucking restraining orders and domestic violence case should be investigated by the FBI right now in the state of Minnesota. You can't do that shit in California no more. No, they investigate restraining orders. You can't just get in there and get a motherfucking restraining order. I knew once I went, I'm like, well, what they going to talk about? Oh, they're giving us family attorneys prep talk on how to win cases and blase, blase, blase. I'm saying, oh, yeah. And when she introduced herself as a DA, I'm like, holy shit, she's a DA and she's up here saying this shit? What the fuck? What the fuck is going on here, man? So every fucking DA teaching family attorneys to use false allegations to win cases. Basically telling them to have their clients to file a protective order, falsified protective order, falsified domestic violence. That's what my ex-wife did. But I forgot, she Korean. I'm like, they called me a nigga. I'm a nigga, so I ain't got no rights. Y'all not gonna shut me the fuck up. I'm taking every one of these motherfuckers down, man. They committed a crime against me. Conspiracy. Fraud documents. The works. Teaching. DA is teaching family and lawyers to use false allegations to win cases. Right there it says, I don't know if y'all can see it, but it's right there. Right there. DA is using false allegations to win cases. Oh man, let's see if you can see it now. No, I guess the light's too bright still. That's fucked up. That's fucked up. That's fucked up. DA is teaching family lawyers to use false allegations to win cases. Okay? Pre-trial allegations is real. It's a crime. Okay? Basically telling them to have their clients file a protective order. You heard it. You heard it. Here's a fucking DA teaching these attorneys. Oh, my Lord. When I went, I'm like, is this bitch really serious, man? And she was. That bitch was actually serious. Now, if she's married, she fucking everything and everybody. If she married. That's conspiracy. That right there is conspiracy under the color of law. That right there is conspiracy, no ifs and no buts. False allegations is a conspiracy crime. That bitch needs to be hit with the RICO Act. Yeah. I couldn't believe it when I went. I'm like, dude, you really brought me to this shit? You know I'm going to record this. I'm going to record this motherfucker. And I did. That prosecutor, that DA, stated to family attorneys how to have your clients lie on restraining orders, on abuse orders, and all of that. And you heard what she said. It's better in your favor for your clients to do the restraining orders and the domestic abuse when there was never none done. That's the criminal system. That's the criminal system. And then she goes, and then she says, well, you can also have them arrested for sexual charges if you say that they molested your child. Don't need evidence. Just say that they molested the child. I got to get this guy out of the house now. Cheat. You could cheat. They bust you. Say this. And he'll be immediately removed. Even though the judge doesn't have no jurisdiction or issuing a warrant. Under no circumstances whatsoever. Y'all better look up your laws, man, and your constitutions, man. Judges don't got no authority to issue no warrants. Y'all didn't know that, huh? Yeah. You got 3 panels. You got 3 divisions of judges, man. Yes. You got 3 divisions of courts. 3. Criminal court, which is Superior Court. Okay? Traffic court. All right? And then you got lawsuit courts. Okay? Each judge is different. Is it a class 3 judge? 1 judge? 2 judge? But no judge has the authority to issue a warrant. No judge does. They got to go somewhere else to ask to issue a warrant. And if they say no, that's it. It's just like when I told the stupid ass attorney, this public defender, and he had a client before me, right? And this guy, he kept getting harassed by this deputy out there. Every time he got out of jail, the same deputy locks him up for some bullshit, raids his house at 3 a.m. and all this bullshit. Same fucking deputy. That's conspiracy. Why are you harassing this man? And he gonna tell him, look, man, I ain't on parole. He just got out. And he get locked up by the same fucking deputy. The same fucking deputy. And this punk ass attorney, public defender, said, man, you ain't handling my case. I got a right to defend myself under the constitutional laws, man. I got a right to represent myself. And I told the judge, I don't understand nothing. I don't give you consent to hear nothing. You know? You some racist motherfuckers, man. You racist. This is a kangaroo court. You racist. Oh, I'm going to order you to see a shrink. You violated my constitutional rights right there. 14th Amendment. Due process of law. You intentionally inflicted bodily harm upon me. So I wouldn't represent myself. You violated my constitutional rights, my Sixth Amendment constitutional rights. I'm going after every one of these motherfuckers now, man. You cannot keep violating somebody's rights. They fighting for what they believe in. I got the right to say what the fuck I want to say, but this right here shocked the shit out of me when I went to the meeting yesterday with this attorney, man. I had to video it, man. I had to record it. I'm like, no fucking way. So these attorneys are telling their clients, and the DA is having meetings about make them file false allegations of domestic violence, sexual assaults. This is a fucking I forgot her name, man. I tried to get all of that on recording, but I couldn't believe it. I had to hold my phone up behind my hat. I couldn't believe it.
That makes it a pretty heavy tool in negotiating a divorce. If it goes through my office, it's a lot harder to use it in negotiating a settlement to your divorce. So I would encourage you very strongly, if you have one of those cases, to do the protective order as part of your case. It gives you more leverage in negotiating settlement. If you're like, well, that's great, I don't know what a protective order looks like, shoot us a message. We'll send you forms. We are willing to help. You know, we're willing to kind of walk you through the process. But our attitude is, if you can do holistic representation for your client, it's better for the client. It's better outcomes in terms of negotiating a settlement. And I'm not going to lie, it is, one fewer case for me. So win-win-win all around. Protective orders are pretty easy. So if part of why you refer them to us is you just don't want to deal with them, they're actually pretty easy. You have two kinds primarily, and I'm going to give you the quick overview and then we'll get into the nitty-gritty. The bulk of our protective orders are domestic violence, family violence. And those are under Chapter 85 of the Family Code. And to prove one of those up, you have to prove a relationship existed that meets the requirements. And then other than that, you just have to prove that family violence occurred and is likely to occur in the future. It's a pretty low burden of proof, pretty low standard. That's really all it is. For the other kind of protective orders, you have stalking, sexual assault, and harassment. You have to prove that there's a reasonable likelihood to believe that it happened. Again, real easy to prove up. So if you have one of these cases, and on those, you don't have to prove likelihood of future harm. He can be sitting in jail for sexual assault for the next 10 years. And if you can prove up that it happened, and if he's in jail, you probably can, well, then you've got something that carries criminal consequences that you can use to get a protective order or use as a bargaining chip in your divorce. So let's go into that. Protective order carries.
Now, this cunt is a motherfucking prosecutor, which should be in federal prison, which should be in prison right now for life. For life. And every attorney there should be locked the fuck up. Every attorney at that meeting should be locked the fuck up. Every one of them motherfuckers should be locked the fuck up, man. Every one of them. It don't have to be a domestic violence. Just put it out there. Just put a protective order out there. We take care of the rest. Just put it out there. It's just like my ex-wife, when she told me in November 2019, it was around November 4th or 15th, that such and such said that she could put a protective order, a restraining order out on me. I messaged her back. I said, for what? I never done no harm to you or nothing. And bam. When I caught the bitch cheating and shit, sleeping around again, hoeing again, drugs in the car again, all of a sudden here come a restraining order on me. Yeah. I put her ass out, restraining order out on me. I told you, courts don't give a fuck. Courts love perjury in Minnesota. These judges love perjury. These judges love false documents. But in California, you can't do that shit no more. And the new law went in effect September 1st in California about domestic violence. You both go to jail. Not one, both go to jail and be charged with domestic violence until the investigation is over. You both, not one, both. And now in California, you want child support, you got to put that father's name down there, and you got to take a DNA test to prove that that's that father's child. Women can't get away with that bullshit no more in California. No, they go to jail now. They go to jail as soon as they sign their name. You swore under oath, penalty of perjury. Your ass is going to jail for filing false documents on this man, for lying on this man, for having this man arrested. You doing 5 to 10 years. Yeah. You say he raped you, find out later he didn't rape you, you doing 15 to 20 years. Only Minnesota, they get away with that. And these motherfucking lousy ass judges, they get away with it. This is a fucking DA. I couldn't believe the shit she was saying. She said, regardless if the husband or boyfriend never assaulted her, file a protective order. We take care of the rest. Going through divorce, file a protective order. We take care of the rest. When the judges see protective orders, they're going to go always in the favor of the women. File the protective orders. We take care of the rest. Ain't that some shit? I've been saying that, man, since my divorce, man. When I filed for my divorce, I was the plaintiff. I filed for the divorce. I was the petitioner. She wasn't. She got mad. I filed the divorce first. Oh, excuse me. She got mad because I filed the divorce first. But I filed the divorce. I wasn't playing with her no more. I don't need nobody in my life to try to kill me twice. I don't need nobody in my life that don't appreciate me and respect me. I don't need no shit like that. Don't get me wrong. Marriage was beautiful. But I don't need nobody that don't respect me. You can talk about me like a motherfucker. I don't give a fuck. There's no sweat off my back whatsoever. You know? And it's funny how... Oh, y'all excuse me. It's funny how here out in Minnesota, how these judges are no fucking good, man. It's really funny. Like the judge that on this criminal case that don't make no fucking sense whatsoever. Everybody's saying this. What is they saying? What are they trying to say you did? They're trying to say I threatened the judges, but you didn't. Everybody's saying you did not threaten nobody because then your videos wouldn't have been on YouTube. You violated their rules, their code of ethics. FBI went through YouTube. They said you didn't do nothing. They said you didn't. If they said you didn't do nothing, you didn't do nothing. Homeland Security, they said you didn't do nothing. Oh, this retaliation. Yeah, retaliation against me. Straight retaliation and hate. That's what I'm going after the attorney for, the judge and the prosecutor for. Hate. Hate. See, when that judge ordered, when I told that judge, I'm representing myself. I got that constitutional right to represent myself. Okay? And you're not going to violate my constitutional rights, and y'all also racist motherfuckers. I got the right to say that. See, under federal penal code, even under state penal code, all rules and regulations and codes are for government employees. Under 12203, judges cannot threaten you. Judges cannot hold you for attempted court. None of that. That's a threat. This judge intentionally, willingly intimidated me. Coerced a retaliation against me because I said I'm representing myself. I don't want no public defender. You cannot force a public defender on no defendant. My constitutional rights. I don't give a fuck about the state constitutional rights. You can throw that piece of paper and wipe your ass with that. The constitutional right says I got a right to represent myself. And they violate every one of my motherfucking constitutional rights. Every one of them. You see, but when I went, when dude said, "Go with me to this meeting, I want you to hear this shit. You're not gonna believe this, man." I said, "Okay." And when she took me, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. And I asked, I said, are you going to be a family attorney? Hell no. I was invited. Whoa. This the shit that they really, that's why that bitch put that my ex put that restraining out on me to look good. Now I understand it. Now I fucking really understand it. I'm glad you teaching me about the law, man. You know, because even though I did a motion and Judge Johnson in Faribault Court didn't even respond to my motion, didn't even say he was going to grant my motion or deny my motion to recall the restraining order because I had proof, documentation that everything she said in the restraining order was a lie, you know? And it's amazing, man. It's amazing. All they got to do is just put a restraining order. I've been assaulted. I've been sexually assaulted. I've been harassed. And bam. Bam. It's so fucking amazing, man. It's if I was ever on a jury member and they tried to get me a jury duty twice, and the judge, I told the judge, I can't be on no jury member because I don't give a fuck what no police report says because they all lie. But he beat his woman. I don't believe that shit. I don't believe a motherfucking thing a woman got to say. Not a goddamn thing come out of a woman's mouth in Minnesota got to say. I can't be on no jury members. They removed me. And the second time was some assault on some police officers or some shit, a case on some deputies that broke into this man's house and he beat the shit out of them. I don't give a fuck about them. I can't be on a jury member because I find the guy not guilty. He got a right to defend himself. Constitutional right said we got a right to defend ourselves whether we take someone's life or not. We got that constitutional right. Because you break into my house, I'm taking your life. There's no ifs and no buts. You break up into my house, I'm taking your life. You hurt. See, people got to wake the fuck up, man. If I had kids and you killed my child, there's nothing on the face of this earth that's going to stop me from taking your life. If I had kids and you killed my child, or when I was married, my wife, or if I had sisters and brothers, no. I go by God's laws, eye for an eye. I go by the common laws, law of the land, an eye for an eye. An eye for an eye. And if I had a girlfriend and you hurt her, you pull her over and beat her ass, no. You have no right to walk. You have no right to walk. No, you got cops and police, you got deputies and everything every day getting locked up now by the FBI, man. See, when the FBI come after your stupid asses, they getting you. And they got you. And they got every right to get your ass too. They have every fucking right to get you. Y'all some dirty motherfuckers, plant evidence and falsified police reports and stuff. Y'all good at that. Y'all good at falsifying police reports and shit like that. Like, so she's reading the whole police report and she go, wait a minute. Okay, you call them a motherfucker. You call them racist bastards. Where is the crime? I see no crime here. Okay. Now the funny thing is, even in the report, it says because they violated his constitutional rights. It says it right there. Because they violated the man's constitutional rights. He says, I'm coming after you with what the law says I got a right to do. And the constitutional right says I got a right to do. That's what's in the report. That's what's in the report. That's what's in the fucking report. Man, it's so fucking hilarious, man. She on a murder case, man, and I couldn't believe it when we recorded this shit, man. I just couldn't believe how this DA is teaching family, man, oh man. Peace out, man. I gotta take my medicine, man. I'm getting sick. Oh.
Oh, I'll answer that, sir. Thank you, James. The way es territorial es que es muy temprano, Inspector. You will save us much trouble if you would confess at once. Listen, the duty was for a practical joke. To see me if the hands are quicker than the police. Oh, Carlos, this is all so boring. If you'd only ask a certain cab driver, he would tell already. He saw you were nowhere near the hotel from midnight until dawn. We don't see how, but only you could have done it. Admit, Miguelito. There's nothing to admit, Carlos. But you'd like me to tell you what I suspect? Well, sometimes a beautiful woman from the purest motives is indiscreet. You pushed him into the now and he's what's already running circles. Cristobal, we are wasting my good times. Remember, Miguelito.